So like the sphere is feminine because it's circular. And then, now this relates to cymatics, and cymatics can be a perfect illustration of how hyperdimensional energy works. If you get like a sphere, like little droplets of sand or water, and you pass a certain vibration through it, they're going to form solid, angular, geometric shapes that hold form and pulsate a little bit too. And then if you put a higher frequency through it, they'll make more shapes. They'll make more, it'll become a more complex shape that will hold the shape. And then, you know, as you go up in frequency of the sound passing through it, it'll make more intricate shapes. So basically that is what's going on in the universe, and you can prove that by looking at a galaxy. Like if you see a galaxy, you see the swirl. And those swirls of a galaxy is caused, the shape of a galaxy is caused by this sound, which is light, because they're waves of matter, light, passing through it and forming it. And then it makes it, and then the galaxies are spinning around from the light hitting it, and they're even pulsating. And if you look at cymatics, you can see if you put two separate vibrations, like a and with a together into something, both of those vibrations will hit each other. They'll make their own configuration, which will create a certain shape, and then it'll pulsate as it oscillates between listening to this vibration and listening to this vibration. So maybe that's where our heartbeat comes from. It comes from the vibration of the earth mixed with the vibration of the sun, making us pump, the heartbeat. So like sunspots, I think he was talking about the sunspots, the sun cycle. Every 11 years, our sun shoots off these flares, which make us have to readjust our satellites. Sometimes satellites get burnt out, and it affects the electromagnetic waves of the earth, radio and TV and stuff, and you know, we make calibrations with that kind of stuff. And it also it also affects us because we're multidimensional beings on the same dimensional level as these sunspots from the sun. So when the sunspots come, we get more, our chakras get more activated, and we get more intelligent and energized to do stuff. And that's one reason why we're all waking up now and inventing stuff and having energy to do stuff, and why we were so stupid for so long, because the sun wasn't pumping out all this energy. And so he's saying we're passing through a photon belt, which is like a energy section of the galaxy. Like if this is the galaxy and this is the galactic plane, the sun goes up and down like this, kind of revolving around it in an ecliptic, and that's not totally along the ecliptic like this, it goes up and down. So as you go down, you pass through the galactic plane, which gets shot out from the central sun, the galaxy, the black hole in the central of the galaxy, which is so big that when it comes down, the centrifugal force makes it spin around so fast that it had to flatten out. It overcame the gravity, so that one really high dimensional aspect of it flattened out and made a disk that goes all the way out to the edge of the galaxy, which in turn makes us influence us on a certain energy level, and it's going to make us pass into another dimension. So like we're passing through the center of the galaxy, the ecliptic of it, which is going to make us pass in like the fourth dimension. And I haven't, now I think what he's saying is like, we'll live in a dimension that we can't see now. And that's a whole nother thing that I haven't even digested yet. But, so I'm just going to leave that alone for now, until I do the raw. But So basically that's cymatics. So if cymatics works with sound vibrations and stuff you can see, it also works with the sun. And so the pulsations of the sun are created by this energy that passes into the sun from other parts of the galaxy in a certain configuration. So there's another dimensional aspect of the sun that has formed these angular shapes. Just like in cymatics, these angular shapes are formed. We just can only see the flat part because that's the third dimensional part of the sun, but there's another part of the sun. So that's like the masculine and the feminine. Feminine would be the round sections that connect all of the angles, and then the angles would be the connecting points. So the energy comes in from the cosmos through the part of the shape, the platonic solid, that touches the sphere. So if you can imagine a triangle inside of a sphere where the edges, the top edge of the triangle touches the top of the sphere, and then the three sides touch the sphere on the side, and then you have another triangle upside down superimposed on that, where you have the tip of the triangle touching the bottom of the sphere, and then three other. So along the edges of the sphere, you have these energy points, vortexes, touching the edge of the sphere in six different places. The three from the top triangle and the three from the bottom. But they're not touching it, maybe I should look at it again, but what I saw of the tetrahedron, I think that's what it's called, is they're not all on the equator. They all hit a little bit up and below the equator, and so that would be 19.5 degrees. And so the idea is that that's where energy comes through, and that's like a vortex of energy, where it touches. And these vortexes spin around on the surface of the sun and other planets, all planets. And so his proof of that is that's why the pyramid is built 19.5 degrees above the equator, supposedly, or at least where the equator was when they were built. That's why the Hawaiian Islands are the same latitude, because they're this vortex, so this expression of this hyperdimensional energy entering the Earth. And so that's what they cause volcanoes, because this hyperdimensional energy actually influences the third dimension that we live in. Higher dimensions influence lower dimensions, and lower dimensions influence higher dimensions too. So that's why that guy, what's his name, was able to levitate the rocks in Miami. That's the 19.5 degrees. Marfa lights, which are these lights that you can see in Texas, Marfa, Texas, is where energy comes into the Earth from these higher dimensions. It's these three different lights that are up above the horizon. Nobody knows what they are. Sometimes they move around, they change color. They're there every single night. I was there 2 nights. Both nights I was watching them all night long. They're up in the sky, and it's crazy. Now, where those lights are, I didn't drive down the road, but where I calculated where the lights were, because they were sometimes they're underneath the horizon of the mountain. One of them is underneath the horizon of the mountain, so you know they're before the mountain. And there's the two, and I guessed how far they were away, and at the top of a ridge, and I looked at it, and that was within 100 meters of the Great Pyramid. So the Marfa lights, the lookout of the Marfa light is exactly 20 miles north of the latitude of the Great Pyramid, and the Marfa lights themselves is exact same latitude. So Cydonia on Mars, where the pyramids and the face are, is 19.5 degrees north. And that big eye on Jupiter that swirls counterclockwise is 19.5 degrees north. And then there's another one on Jupiter that's like that too. So apparently that's where the energy comes in, and it's swirling around from this hyperdimensional pulsation that's coming in. So I guess if I understood correctly, you have the tetrahedron, which is how the energy comes in and feeds that kind of energy from the fourth dimension, but then you have the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. And then like the fifth dimension would be the next platonic solid with more angles, more vortexes that touch the edge of the sphere.